Hey Bulldog fans, welcome to the first Bryant football coaches show of the 2019 season. Tristan Hobbs joined by the head coach of the Bulldog football team, Chris Merritt. Coach, first one of the year, week one is upon us, Thursday night kickoff at Stony Brook. But first, let's quickly recap where we've been since the last time we spoke in January. Obviously, spring practices and now through an August camp. Just your thoughts on the progression of your program.
Sure, after spring football we had 15 practices to evaluate and install. Now we're up into the 50s, I think, or close to 50 total practices. So we're starting to find out what we're good at, what we're not good at, and what the adjustments we need to make. And Thursday night's going to be a great opportunity for us to really figure that out.
How much have you enjoyed this process of, one, getting to know your team and then watching your team kind of evolve under your leadership?
Well, I think it's their team. You know, it might be the program that I run, but it's something that these guys have embraced. They've bought into it. They're accountable to each other. That's what we want. We want these guys to be accountable to each other and start to establish that culture, and they've done a great job so far.
What was maybe some of the highlights for you during camp in terms of progression, accountability, kind of watching this team grow?
Well, I think we're tougher. I think that was one of the things that we wanted to really instill in these young men, is that it's how you practice. I think we practice faster now. I think we practice harder. I think we've done a lot more contact type of drills in order to get tougher at the line of scrimmage. And our goal, and I've stated it from day one, we want to lead the league in rushing, and we want to lead the league in rushing defense. And the only way you can do that, I think, is through blocking and tackling. And we've really put a focus on that in this preseason.
Bulldogs open up the season on Thursday night at Stony Brook, 7 p.m. kickoff. Coach, let's talk a little bit about the different parts of of this team going into the season opener. We just talked about rushing offense and rushing defense. Let's start on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, 3 experienced running backs in your backfield. How much has that played a part in kind of the mindset of this group going forward?
Well, I think that's one of the strengths of the football team. I think the 4 backs that we have all bring something to the table. We're going to need that. We're going to need that depth of that position if we're going to do what we want to do as an offense. And while they're similar in some statures, they're different. And I'm excited once we can get Isaac McCray healthy again and back on the football field. I think he'll be a great addition to the group. But both Fred Dorbor and Daniel Adeboye have done a great job learning our offense and running tough.
Up front, kind of a staggering stat, over 150 career games combined for your offensive line that you have going forward this year. How important is that aspect of it, having that experience, but also how good can this group be?
Well, we can't lead the league in rushing unless we have an offensive line. So those guys, you can tell they're seasoned. And again, it's tough for them. For the seniors that are on the offensive line, this is the 3rd offense in 4 years for them. But at the end of the day, I think they're catching on to what we're trying to do, and they're getting better, and you can see a noticeable difference from spring football till now on their progress.
Your wide receiver group, it happens to have 2 captains, Alex Rasmussen and Vinny Nizavacha. How invaluable has their leadership been to that group, which is rather young?
Well, their leadership has led the way. There's no question about it. They're both very solid football players for us. With the additions to Hunter Hill and Anthony Frederick into that group, as well as the emergence of David Zoria, that's a very solid group for us. I think with that group we can compete and win.
And then obviously on offense you have a quarterback. You guys had an open competition, and in your words the other day, it's still open pretty much. You've been battling for it. How much has that competition been, maybe not fun to watch, but the competition level of it and guys competing for a job?
Well, the more competition you have, the better play you get. And I think that we started off the program here with Bryant with 4 quarterbacks that we competed with. A couple of them rose to the top after spring football. 2 more rose to the top more through preseason camp. But Chris Hindle has been very sound with the football. He's making great decisions. The thing the quarterback has to do with this offense is keep moving the chains. And Chris has done a great job of ball security and doing that for us in preseason camp. And at times Corey Curtis has been very, very, very good. They're both going to play Thursday night. It's just going to be a continuing, ongoing process. Again, just like our running backs, the quarterbacks bring something different to the table each time, and different strengths, different weaknesses, and we're going to try to do the best we can to manage those.
Now, switching sides to the defensive side of the football, I think one of the best words to describe this group is hungry. I think they want to be able to prove that they are an elite defense. What have you seen from them during camp that makes you see that that's a possibility?
Well, one of the favorite questions we got at Media Day, directed to Robert Brown there, was the statistics that were brought up to our rushing defense last year. And I think that smarted a little bit. That kind of stung, and I think that's good. I think that anytime you can get your pride challenged about the past, that makes you want to be better for the future. And I think that these guys have done a very good job this spring of not only practicing harder, in the preseason, practicing harder, but understanding run fits. I think Coach Masella he's going to challenge teams to beat us through the air. That's what he wants to do, and I'm all for that. I think that anytime you can take away one phase of the game or the other for an offense, that you kind of plays into your hands a little bit, and they're going to be focused on taking away the runs this year.
You have one of the best players in the league, Tomas Wright, on your defensive line. How explosive have you seen that? Now getting a chance to see it firsthand.
Well, I can tell you in practice, blitz drill and third and long has been tough. When Tomas is coming off the edge and just what he can do, and Coach Masella has done a great job of putting him in different places in our defense to where we can utilize his pass rushing skills in different ways, and that combined with some of the pressures that we've got coming, I think that's going to be a very good unit for us. If we can force teams into throwing situations, we'll be okay.
Your back end of your defense, your linebackers, DBs, Robert Brown, one of your captains, Logie Portugal, one of your captains. Those two groups, a lot of experience there in terms of games played. How much are you guys going to rely on them, and what have you seen from them in camp so far?
Well, they've been leaders. These are guys that you really don't have to say a word to them about their effort. They've done a great job of working with their teammates, especially the younger ones. Jesse Nemarowitz, you could throw into that group too. Both he and Robert have done a great job with the linebacking core. Logie's been a solid leader in the secondary, no question about it. With Andre Brackett healthy now, we think he's a very, very good corner. And then getting Dajay Pearson, because Dajay's still new to our defense. He played lacrosse in the spring, so we didn't get a chance to have him in spring football. And with the addition to Javis Hanks and Rynell Joseph, we feel that's a good group. It's a good room.
And probably one of your biggest groups in terms of returners, but also one of your more fun groups, your special teams guys. And you got almost your whole setup there coming back in terms of your long snapper, your holder, punter, kicker. That has to be a huge boost for this team.
It does. I don't think people realize the importance of special teams. I'm a special teams guy. Played special teams in college. It's what paid for my school. But listen, every play of special teams is 40 yards of field position or a score. I don't know of two more important plays in the game than that. So field position for this offense and for this defense is going to be crucial. It's going to be key. But having the experience of those kickers are very important for us. And it was great to reward one of them here in preseason with Luke getting put on scholarship there at the end.
And then now going into your first game of the season, your first game as a head coach of this program. What's the excitement level of this group, of this team, and kind of the energy level right now?
Well, I think the juice is good. To put it in Coach Watson's terms, the juice is good is out there. These guys are excited to play. We as coaches, we're excited to find out where we're at. We've got 4 games at the beginning of the season against non-conference opponents, a really good test. The first 2 against CAA opponents, and I think it's just going to be a great opportunity for us to find out where we're at and what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, and what we have to address.
What is one thing that maybe fans watching the game on Thursday can expect to see in terms of the way the game's played?
Well, hopefully you see a team that no matter what the scoreboard says is going to fight to the very end. They're going to, to me, that's important. We know we're playing a very good football team. We know that they're going to be physical. They're going to be fast. It's important for us that we show up at the bell, and then at the end of the 15 rounds, we're standing on our feet still at the bell.
Head coach Chris Merritt, the Bulldogs get set to open their season this Thursday, August 29th at Stony Brook. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. For all your news and headlines for Bryant football, be sure to follow the Bulldogs on social media at Bryant U Football. Coach Merritt, see you next Monday.
Thank you, sir.